Please rise.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call.
Mr. Chaffetz?
Here.
Mr. Gigi?
Here.
Mr. O'Hare?
Here.
Mr. Espinola?
Here.
Mr. Bahu?
Here.
Mr. LeMay?
Here.
Mr. Moran?
Here.
Mr. Boutin?
Here. Okay. I'd like to ask Mr. Gigi, anybody here to speak on behalf of the public?
No one present, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. At this point, any school committee communications? I did have one that I will convey in a little while from the teachers inviting us to their welcome back party.
Yep.
And I'll get you the date
Got my
in a
tickets.
little while. Do you know when it is, Mr. O'Hare?
I think it's Friday.
This Friday?
Yeah.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Okay, so tomorrow, we're all invited to the loci. I believe it's, what time? 2:30 to 6, somewhere around there. So just wanted to convey that to everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Booth.
Thank you for your help, Mr. O'Hare.
You're welcome.
Any other committee communications? Okay, I'd like to ask our new student representative. Is it Anthony Blatus?
I'm going to introduce him.
Oh, okay, Roger, absolutely.
So Anthony comes to us, he's a junior, he's a son of Andrew and Agnes Blatus of Dracut. He is actually a senior in the Health Assisting and Pre-Nursing Program. Member of Skills USA, varsity wrestling, also track and field and cross country. He was the junior class president last year, plans to run for senior class president this year. He has been recognized as Student of the Month and has received numerous awards for excelling in both academics and athletics. He plans to attend college and pursue a career as a registered nurse. So welcome,
Excellent.
Anthony. Thank you for agreeing to be our representative.
Thank you
Appreciate
for
it. We look forward to your reports each month.
Welcome.
So, for the Greater Lowell News for organization and clubs, on September 11th, Greater Lowell Tech students volunteered at the Duval Senior Care Center for their annual Stepping Out for the Seniors Walkathon and Carnival. Students volunteered to run the carnival games, hand out cotton candy, ice cream, and popcorn, and also provided face painting. The sophomore class committee will be volunteering to assist with the Merrimack Valley Food Bank's annual pantry raid on September 21st and September 24th. Students will drop off bags to houses in the Pawtucketville neighborhood and pick up the donations to bring to the food bank. The outgoing club is in the process of planning their first trip. They are hoping to go apple picking in Groton in September. Class elections will be held this week, September 19th through September 30th. We will have a number of students who are running for class officer positions that are excited for the year to start and ready to get involved. Our annual Canopy Lake Screamfest trip will be taking place in October. Students will stay after school to enjoy a pizza and a movie and then head to the Canopy Lake for the night. For the athletics, over 515 students tried out for the fall sports terms this season, teams up from 465 in 2015. Boys soccer picked up a non-league win over Lowell Catholic on September 9th and have a big games coming up for the next couple of weeks with Shawsheen, Lynn Tech, and Chelsea. Girls soccer has played well to start the season and will look to break into the win column in their upcoming games with Minutemen and Mystic Valley. Girls volleyball dropped a very tough 5-set match to Essex recently and looked to bounce back this week against Innovation Academy in Notre Dame. The boys country team and girls traveled to NDA and Shawsheen, and the boys won against Shawsheen. The girls beat Shawsheen and they lost to NDA. The cheer team has begun training for the competition season later this fall and has also been support for the football team as they have opened the season. Varsity football opened up their season in their annual non-league showdown with Lowell Catholic on September 9th. This year's game was battled right to the final seconds before Lowell Catholic ultimately pulled out the 28-21 victory. The team will next be playing at Essex Tech on September 16th for a 7 p.m. kickoff. And in the news, Brianna Sanchez, a junior in the early childhood education shop, saved a young boy's life this summer while lifeguarding in the Lowell in Lowell at the McPherson Park pool. In late June, Jacob Fortier, senior in the automotive technology shop, helped rescue an elderly man from a fire in his home. Both of these students acted as good Samaritans, and we are proud of them.
Hey, thank you. Very good, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, at this point, I'd ask for approval of the minutes from the August 18th meeting. Motion by Mr. Tatsias, second by Mr. Moran.
Mr. Tatsias? Yes. Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare?
Yes.
Mr. Espinola?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Boutin?
Yes. Okay, I've got a report of the treasurer.
Move to waive the reading.
Mr. Moran motions to waive the reading of the warrants. Is there a second? By Mr. Tatsias?
Mr. Tatsias?
Yes.
Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare?
Yes.
Mr. Espinola?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Boutin?
Yes. At this point, I'd entertain a motion for the, to approve the expenditures for the sum of $2,004,120.95. Motion by Mr. Moran, second by Mr. Tatsias.
Mr. Tatsias?
Yes.
Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare?
Yes.
Mr. Espinola?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Boutin?
Yes. Okay, there's no report of the general counsel. At this point, I'll turn the meeting over to Superintendent, Mr. Bourgeois.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I got, I think, 5 items on my report. Want to start off just by going over a little bit about the opening of school. As you know, over the end of August, the teachers came back for 2 days, and then the students came back. But prior to that, we did something a little different this year. We actually had our freshmen, rather than come in the day before all of the kids came back, we had them come back, I think it was August 17th, and we did a freshman welcome day. So we tried to accomplish 2 things. One, we wanted them really to not have as much hustle and bustle going on in the building, so it was just a day just dedicated to them, so that they really got a chance. We had 25 teachers here to work with them, and we also had, I think it was 50 peer leaders that came back and volunteered their time, upperclassmen. It was a very successful day. It accomplished the first part, that we really wanted them to be welcomed. We did for instance, we did a scavenger hunt for them to find their room from their calendar, from their schedule. And then the other thing that it accomplished was it freed up that other day so that we could do an all-day professional day with our teachers, which we had 4 different presentations, so they were broken down into groups of 60, and they rotated between the presentations. And then at the end, we had a presentation in the lecture hall that everybody attended, and it was actually, the last presentation was called Student Voices, and it was a panel of our students just to hear their voices of what it's like to come to this school every day. It was really well received. We think it was a outstanding opening, and we're off to a great school year. A couple other things I just want to kind of work into that is, we've just made a decision yesterday, actually this morning. We were scheduled to have homecoming on Saturday, October 15th. It's now going to be Friday night, October 14th. So the Greater Lowell Parent Organization has agreed to donate the money for the lights, to have a game under the lights. So we're going to be playing, so homecoming schedule will start Friday after school with soccer games, volleyball game. There'll be a car wash going on as a fundraiser. The seniors from last year, the graduation class of last year, will come back at 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock and get their yearbooks and have a pizza party and have slides of their time here in the cafeteria. And then at 6:30, the lights will go on and we're going to play a football game. And then after that, there'll be a dance from 8 o'clock until 11 o'clock in the cafeteria. So just want to let you know that we've pulled this together in a very short amount of time, and we're very grateful to all of the people that, especially Mr. White, who had to get all the officials rescheduled for all the games. It was, and yeah, the parent organization for making it possible. We didn't have the money for the lights. Also, so they're paying to rent 7 light stands. Dracut, Papuana is donating 3. They're letting us use 3 of their light stands. They have 3 light stands. And the city of Lowell, I think the DPW is letting us use their 2. So we're getting 5 of them for no cost, and then the parent organization's picking up the cost on the others.
How
So
many
we're-
more they need?
We're very excited. So we're going to have a total of 12, 10 around the field, and 2 lighting up kind of the walking from the parking lot to the tunnel. So we're going to have 12 total, yeah. So we're pretty excited. We think it's really going to be a great homecoming. So mark your calendars for the 14th. Next thing on my agenda, I just wanted to give you an update. I just wanted to thank you for approving the out-of-state travel for our professional development at the Professional Learning Communities at Work Conference. As you know, we took 28 folks to Syracuse last year, and this summer we took 38 folks to Atlanta. And just as last year couldn't have gone better, Atlanta was outstanding. It's a great experience. It's really building a critical mass of folks who are on our faculty who are getting a deeper and a better and a shared understanding of what it is to have a professional learning community and have a culture that's really focused on high levels of learning for all students. So just wanted to give you the feedback. Also, I know at the last meeting you approved for 6 more people to go to Jacksonville. There were people that couldn't, there were administrators who couldn't fit it in the last 2 summers, and that'll pretty much take care of almost all of the administrative team having gone. So yeah, very, very grateful for your support on that. Also today, speaking of Atlanta, I was contacted a couple weeks ago about whether or not we would host a visiting team of educators from Shiloh High School just outside of Atlanta. And the way that they the connection to contact me was they had heard of the program that we had worked out with CVS, and that CVS had set up the pharmacy and the marketing program, and they're in the process of structuring their school into career academies. So when they heard about it, they worked through their CVS representative, who worked through Jonathan Da Silva, to set up a visit here. So Jill and I and Mike Barton spent today speaking with them and walking around and touring, and it was incredible, the questions that they had. So the 6 of them came here today, and then we arranged for them to go tomorrow to Worcester Tech, because that's actually a school that is structured as, we're clusters, vocational clusters, but Worcester Tech is a career academy school. So they're going to head to Worcester Tech. They're in Boston tonight, watching the Red Sox beat the Yankees. One of them was a Yankees fan, so but they were terrific. But it's just great to be able to share some of the successes that we've had here at Greater Lowell. They were really very, very impressed with what we do and how we do it. So, yeah, and we've got some friends out there in Atlanta. So if we go out to Atlanta for another conference, we'll have some people to contact. So it'll be good.
Roger, could I just make a suggestion that you get rid of all these water and tonic and make sure you have Coca-Cola here if they're coming up from,
From Atlanta?
yes.
That's right. So that's the first 2 items on my agenda. The next 2 items I'm going to turn over to Assistant Superintendent Principal Jill Davis with regard to the approval of the teacher handbook and the policies for head injuries and concussions and extracurricular athletics. Ms. Davis.
I'm here tonight to ask for your approval first for the 2016-17 teacher handbook, and to answer any questions you may have in regards to the teacher handbook. Any questions?
Mr. O'Hare?
I just want to make a statement, not a question. I read this, and it's very, very good. And I have no problems with it, and that's not why I'm asking this question, but I would like to see something added to this. And I'm very upset with a lot of things that are happening, not here, but in the United States at this particular time. And I would like you, and I've read this, lawyers have to get involved in this, but I just would like you to add a section in the teacher's handbook on the proper display of the United States flag. There are too many places now, football teams, professional teams, high school teams, college teams, that are not saluting the United States flag at this particular time. They have some in the pros and other places, there's not too much you can do about it. However, once you get to the high school and elementary school level, if you have in your policy what you expect, if there's any abuse of a flag, or if there's any misconduct of a flag, that you could you could suspend students, you could get people back on the right track to remind them that the United States flag is a symbol that we should all admire, basically for a lot of the things that have happened during that period of time that flag has been up with wars, et cetera, of people helping this country stay together. It is, if you do not have something like this in your discipline problem, there's not too much you can do, because the question is, where does it say that you can't sit on your hands or turn around or put the Black Panther symbol up? You can't. You have to have some instructions in your teacher's handbook saying that if you, whatever it is that you want to say, but basically it's so that people will not abuse the flag. People that go to Greater Lowell High School should not be abusing the flag. There are some other schools, colleges, that don't have that caveat in their instructions, and therefore there is nothing that you can balance. But I would hope that you could put another section in, as small as it could be, but just to protect ourselves so that something happens with a student here, or a teacher, or anybody on this premise, that they should be removed or suspended for a day or whatever else. I'm very strong on that, and I hope that is, I'm not going to put it in as a motion at this particular time because I think I'd need some more time. But I would just hope that you would add that into your teacher handbook so that we are protected if anybody tries to abuse the flag in the school or on this premise.
Okay, so no motion, Mr. Hay, and this is for the teacher's handbook. I mean, that might be something for the student handbook for next year.
I don't want to wait till next year. I think something, it could be, well, the teachers are administering the program. The teachers are the one, more than likely, the teacher is the person that's going to find who is abusing the flag, and they can make that decision. But regardless of where it goes, it should start right now. Every day you watch television today, first of all, it was a football player. Then it was 2 football players. Now it has gotten down to the high school level. One of the schools did not suspend a person because they didn't have the documentation I'm talking to you about. Another school did. All right, so let's be consistent. Let's be proud of the flag, and let's follow the rules.
Okay. Mr. Gigi?
I agree with you, George, that the flag should be respected, but that's a legal issue that maybe lawyers should address before we impose a will on teachers and students, because the United States Constitution, freedom of speech, there's a lot of other things that are involved in it, but your point's well taken, the flag should be respected. But I think there's a lot more involved, and it should be required some additional research and thought.
Yes, and one of those things that has to be involved is that if you have some documentation, it's in a book, whether it's a teacher's handbook or a school handbook or whatever we call it, unless you have that unless you have a restriction, if you violate this rule, then we'll do something about it. If that isn't in, whatever the document is, there's not too much you can do.
So you're thinking the flat etiquette that you can, what type of thing would you like to see in the handbook?
I would
What
just-
kind of statement?
Could be very simple, that if you abuse the flag, subsequent, there's a very good chance that you'd be disciplined for that action that you took. If it was disrespect to the flag of the United States, there should be some action taken.
Okay. Anybody else?
Well, I'd just like to...
Mr. Tatsias.
Just to follow up a little bit on what Mr. Gigi said, I agree that it's very hard to see somebody do that, but in the way the laws are today, I don't think we could enforce anything like that. I mean, I think we could explore the options, but I can't imagine the law allowing that.
Let me just add a little bit.
Yeah.
We would all like that, but unless you have a rule in your, whatever the position is, whether if it's a student handbook, and this was, I just read this in a couple of newspapers recently, within the past week.
Okay.
That unless you have a set rule that you cannot abuse the flag or whatever, you're gonna lose the case. All right, but if you have a rule in your school or in your facility, then that rule has to be followed.
Okay, Mr. Bourgeois?
I'm not sure if this is helpful to the discussion, but there is a state law that requires us to do a Pledge of Allegiance every morning. So every one of our classrooms has a flag in it, and every morning on our loudspeakers, our students are led in the Pledge of Allegiance. But I also believe that according to that law, that students who do not wish to pledge allegiance to the flag could choose to have a moment of silence instead, but it's done in a respectful way. So it's please rise for a moment of silence or to salute the flag of the United States of America. So that's currently in play, and that's state law.
Let me just add one caveat then. If that's, I mean, we're making assumptions. And I just would talk to our lawyer to see, and I can get some publications, some newspaper publications that will indicate that, yes, you can have some of the local school, and I can't remember what it is suspending kids because of that. All right, and I think that should be looked into rather than assuming what the law says, so that we can do the right thing. It gets worse every day, as far as I can see. First, it was a football player, professional football player. Second, it was a second professional football player who chose to kneel down rather than stand. Now it's into the high school level, and high school kids were suspended. And I do not have the name of the school, but it was in the local newspapers. All right, but I think someone should pursue that, look it over, and because I don't want it to be in a
We
situation.
can contact our legal
school
counsel,
attorney.
and
Yes, that's what I just asked. Yes.
important recommendation. Yep, we can find out what our legal counsel recommends
Absolutely.
and get back to you
Yes.
next meeting. Absolutely.
Okay. Are there any other questions about the teacher's handbook for Mr. O'Hare? Anybody else have a question or a comment?
Motion approved.
Again,
A
good job.
motion to approve by Mr. Moran. Is there a second by Mr. Maho? I had a question or a comment. I know I made a note. Page 4. Probably just a couple of minor typos, but on number 4, last line, director or his, her, and it should say, I think it was designee that was used throughout. We could just go through and proof that to see if that's in there.
Yes.
And then the next line down with the State Police Bomb Squad, you've got the number in twice. And that is the correct
Yes.
number as I looked it up on my computer and my wife asked me why it was there, so. I had one other question. Compliment. Having a student that just graduated from the school, one of the concerns as a parent that we had was a different guidance counselor each year. You've done it, I was asking in the past, if a guidance counselor could follow the child, but this seems like a better plan where you have, all freshmen have a guidance counselor, and then they're assigned one guidance counselor
According
for the
to
next
their
3 years. And I think that's gonna be extremely helpful to the parents to know who the guidance counselor is if you've worked with them before, so, thank you for doing that. And I'm done. Are there any other questions? Okay, motion has been put on the table by Mr. Moran, seconded by Mr. Bahu to approve the teacher handbook. Roll call.
Mr.
Oh,
Tatsias?
excuse me, Mr. Espinola?
Sorry, the appendixes that are part of the teacher handbook, are we voting on that now with this? Is that whole? with
Yes, it is
these? They
whole.
go in there?
Yes, it is whole.
Okay, so, what I am discovering when I'm reading newspapers throughout the nation is that, people are using, their, ability to have medical marijuana cards, to, smoke marijuana. And it's starting to, create a situation where they're smoking in smoke-free places. Court school committee meetings, city council meetings, people are just smoking and it's non-smoking area. Has nothing to do with the medical marijuana thing. It's a smoke-free type of a thing. And I see the drug-free workplace thing. Has anybody thought about that confluence, that medical marijuana? I mean, we can't have the teachers smoking medical marijuana inside the classrooms. But we, at the same time, we can't say that they can't do it according to the law. So it doesn't need to be something that needs to be put into here, but I would say that maybe that should be something that is spoke about when we move forward for something like that. And it's relatively new,
Very good point.
but the concept is there. You can see how it could be an interference with different policies, and when people make the laws, they don't think about the other laws that are made available, and you end up with some buttings. So I just for future purposes, if it comes to fruition, that we should, especially there's going to be a referendum on the ballot in November to make marijuana legal anyway, so the medical marijuana is a whole different ballgame, so I think we should start at least to wet our lips with it, to see where we're gonna end up bringing this and making sure we don't get caught without knowing what's going on, hit blindsided by this. Thank you.
We'll check
Thank
with
you.
Attorney Long on that issue as well and keep you apprised.
Excellent point, Mr. Espinola.
Well, thank you,
Hadn't thought
Chairman
of that.
Boutin.
You're welcome. One question I do have, looking at all the forms, the appendixes that we have in there, are those, is there any way to have these be non-paper? I
Yeah,
know
they
in-
are non-paper, however, the teachers also ask that they be part of the
Okay.
handbook.
So they'll go into their system? the
Yes, we do
computerized
have them in a
system,
system
and
called
put in for-
SharePoint here, that all
Whether
our
it's a
forms
personal
are
day,
on.
whether it's a grade
Yes.
change,
All our forms, they
not-
just wanted them part of the handbook.
very good. Thank you
Just-
very much. Okay, roll call?
Mr. Tatsias?
Yes.
Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare?
Yes.
Mr. Espinola?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Boutin?
Yes.
So next on my agenda of handbooks here, I have the policies on head injuries and concussions in extracurricular athletics. For your approval, there are no changes to this document except for the date that would go on the bottom.
Okay, motion for approval by Mr. Bahu, second by Mr. Gigi. Roll call?
Mr. Tatsias?
Yes.
Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare?
Yes.
Mr. Espinola?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Boutin?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for your feedback and your time.
I have to say, the teacher's handbook is quite lengthy, quite detailed, and must have taken a lot of time. Thank you to you and whoever else worked on it.
Thank you.
The last item on my report is that I am seeking approval. We do this every year. The cosmetology students go to, and their instructors go to the IBS International Beauty Show in New York City, and it's on October 17th. And where it is out of New England, we need your approval in order for them to be able to participate.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. O'Hare, second by Mr. Moran.
Mr. Tatsias?
Yes.
Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare?
Yes.
Mr. Espinola?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Boutin?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All set? Okay. Report of the business manager. Welcome, Ms. Turner.
There's nothing much to report tonight. We just have to vote on 2 transfers. They're both in the same department. They're just moving it from one line to another.
Okay, entertain a motion by Mr. Bahu, second by Mr. Espinola. for approval? Roll call?
Mr. Tatsias?
Yes.
Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare?
Yes.
Mr. Espinola?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Boutin?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'd just like to congratulate Ms. Turner on her one-year anniversary as employee in Business Department. She's really done an extraordinary job.
Thank you for making us all look good. Okay. Next up, any old business that needs to be discussed? Are these new?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. A motion by Mr. O'Hare to discuss Athletic Hall of Fame.
Okay, on, I guess I have on a page here, but on that, we set up some time ago, we mentioned that we were going to put an Athletic Hall of Fame. There was a lot of construction right up in the sports pavilion, and I think that we should have a meeting and decide where we'd like to put that, and I think it should be up in that area, where the gym is right now. And I think that's going to be a simple operation, it's just that we have to put our heads together and figure out where those trophies would be. This is, the reason this motion came up originally, because there was we expanded the Athletic Hall of Fame from what it used to be, but still, Greater Lowell has got so many trophies that we should make a decision of where we're going to put them. And I think the area that they're in now, not necessarily the exact spot, but, during sports events, there's a lot of people that go up there, and we can, just find space to put the trophies that we have right now, but probably in a little more open space. You can actually, if it's a new year, you can put them down in the main lobby, as people can see coming into the building, but the permanent location would be somewhere up around that sports pavilion right now. There is 2 walls of space for trophies and whatever else we need. Maybe some of those should be looked at. Some of them, I think, go back to the 1800s. There's loads of them in there. But yes, it's just going to take a little. Probably Mark White, myself, and somebody else can go up there and look at it, and we'll just make that
Yeah, why don't we set up a meeting, you, me, and Mark, and we'll
Exactly.
take a look at it, and we'll come up with a plan.
Yep.
Are
Okay,
there
so-
any trophies right now sitting somewhere that aren't out in the open?
I think most of them are out in the open, and they're getting.
So the most recent trophies are in the display as you walk in the main entrance across from the security guard. So that's where the most, but as we get more and it's full, then we take the older ones and we relocate them. I think there's one, a trophy case in the 2200 block. It's probably the one that Mr. O'Hare is referring to that's kind of overcrowded with a
Yep.
lot of trophies in it. So let's take a look and see if there's some other spaces and how we could set it up so that it looks a little nicer.
Or maybe we can find some people that could build some nice shelves for us, you think?
That's what this school does. Does it well.
To be careful from one perspective, when you get outside the gym, there's a lot of, like when the rec leagues come and they're bouncing basketballs and they're
Yep.
waiting to get in, and so you gotta worry about the damage to the glass, right? That's why it's located in 2200 block, so it's not right outside the gym. But we can take a look at that. But that is the difficulty with putting it in that great area outside in the sports pavilion is, we've got our security guards going down, the kids are bouncing the balls off the windows and bouncing them off the walls. And it's just, they're just waiting to get out on the gym floor, right? So for the team that's out there is gonna finish, and then they're gonna go out there. So there's some banging around and some ball bouncing around that goes on in that little area. But we'll put our heads together and we'll come up with something.
About 7 years ago, we expanded that display case that was out front. It was just running, we just had too many trophies. So we expanded that almost down to, there's a notch in the wall, and it goes down that far. Now we're going around the corner. So that's, we'll meet with Mark and we'll set something up there.
Cheryl will set up a meeting, you, me, and Mark,
Yep.
and we'll spend a couple hours brainstorming it. We'll come up with a plan.
Excellent. Okay, another motion by Mr. O'Hare These are past motions that are being added to the old business list. Motion by Mr. O'Hare to discuss the Kula-Harris dedication.
Yep. I have I have not made contact, but I have called Harry Kula-Harris, one of the Kula-Harrises, and I assume they're on vacation, and they'll get back to me, and we'll just start on that. We have some rough ideas, but there's a little work to be done on that one.
Excellent.
No, nothing big, but, look good.
Okay. Next motion by Mr. O'Hare to discuss the superintendent's wall.
Okay, this one here is, I don't know how many years ago it was, maybe 10 years ago, we decided to put a superintendent's wall, some recognition of past superintendents. And where the security people were prior to our major construction, around the corner, right on the steps, we had a wall up there, and we were putting, the concept was to put some recognition, give some recognition to the former superintendents. And if you live in Lowell and go into City Hall, you'll see something similar to this, where former mayors have pictures, big pictures all along. And we were going to do the same concept. However, we weren't going to make the large picture the way it is in Lowell, but we were just putting, we put one, actually, Mr. Collins's picture is there, and it is one frame. And that is, there was a lot of change at that particular time, so we never really, it clicked on the second or third person. The difficult piece here is contacting past superintendents. And let me say, Bob Rita was the first superintendent here. Mr. Rita has passed away. He was out in California, and really no. Oh, no, that's the third superintendent. The second superintendent who died shortly. He was only the superintendent for a short period of time. His name slips me at this particular time. But the point was, and well taken, that the second superintendent, that plaque that's on the wall could be put right where the extension of all the superintendents would be. And we were going to do there was a lot of things that took place at the school, so we really never could finish that project. Now, the painting, or it's a bronze plaque that's on the wall right now, and that could continue that way, or we could. But I think that needs to be addressed to find out how we're going to continue that, and if we still want to put all the superintendents' pictures up and give them some recognition on that wall right now. And again, we should have a meeting on that, and we'll decide. Yeah, bronze plaque.
We can go down and take a look at that as well when we meet on
The second superintendent was Jerry Carpenter.
Yeah, and his plaque's right outside
Yes.
curriculum.
Yeah,
It's a different size from the one that's down.
yeah,
It's much smaller than the Bill
Yeah.
Collins one that's where.
yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna do something down in that mall area, that they need to be consistent, so. And we can have a new plaque made up
Yeah.
from Mr. Carpenter as well.
So since that time, I think we had 4 superintendents.
Total of 6 altogether, I think.
5, 6, yep.
Yep.
But I mean, since that time we put it up, 4 superintendents have been
Okay,
delayed
so
at the
when
school.
we meet, when we meet on the trophies, we could also
Yeah.
go down and take a
Yep.
look at that and then get back to the committee.
But I think it just gives them some recognition, and it's similar to, the intention is similar to what Lowell has in City Hall.
All set, Mr. O'Hare?
Yep.
Mr. Bahu?
Thank you for that, Mr. O'Hare. I think it's a well-thought-out idea. I think maybe we should develop a subcommittee, Mr. Chairman, to go ahead and address that and have a few of our school committee members be on that subcommittee and have that discussion
Yeah.
and begin to try to move it forward.
I think it's an excellent idea. Okay,
For that, Mr. Bahu.
I have, Mr. O'Hare, would you like to be the chair of that
Sure,
subcommittee?
I'd be more than happy to.
Okay, are there any volunteers that would like to serve on the committee with Mr. O'Hare? Mr. Bahu?
Kempton said yes.
Mr.
Sure,
Gigi?
thank you.
And Mr. Lemay, thank you.
Thank you for volunteering.
Bahu, Gigi, and LeMay,
Yes.
and what is it being called?
Superintendent's
former alumnus.
Yeah.
The O'Hare, Gigi, LeMay, Bahu Committee. The Trophy
I
Committee.
think the
We'll do the
Plaque
trophy
committee.
and the plaques.
plaque.
Superintendent Plaque Committee.
With the recognition committee.
Recognition committee, I think, is a nice, recognition committee.
Just
Thank you.
recognition?
Recognition committee, because if I need to send something else their way, I can.
Perfect.
Okay, so, do we need a motion to create a subcommittee?
No, you can create them as the chairman.
Oh, guess what I just created? Okay,
Ad hoc
Mr.
subcommittee.
Chairman.
thank you very much. Okay, Mr. O'Hare, that works?
Yep, thank
You'll
you.
let the other members know when you're going to meet?
Yes, I would assume we're going to meet as soon as I get a hold of one person, that should be next week.
Okay, very good.
We'll do part of it.
Okay. All set? Thank you. No new business, no committee person motions. Report of the subcommittees. I'll be seeking a motion to approval of the August 18th Greater Lowell Technical High School Building Committee report
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
by Mr. Lemay, second by Mr. Espinola.
Mr. Tatsias?
Yes.
Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare?
Yes,
Mr. Espinola?
Yes.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Lemay?
Yes.
Mr. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Boutin?
Yes. Monthly approvals, I don't believe there were any.
Nope. None.
Okay.
No change orders.
Entertain a motion to adjourn
Adjourn.
by Mr. O'Hare, second by Mr. Espinola.
Mr. Tatsias?
Yes.
Mr. Gigi?
Yes.
Mr. O'Hare? Mr.
Yes.
Espinola? Mr. Bahu? Mr. Lemay? Mr. Moran? Mr. Boutin?
Yes.
At the meeting.
A full bust.